Good morning, students. In this video, I am going to discuss a very interesting and very tricky problem of rotational mechanics. So this problem was framed by me last year while explaining a very important concept of rotational mechanics to my student. And that concept is that, as you can see in this slide also, the torque due to internal forces on a system of particles about any point is zero. So this is a standard result of rotational mechanics, which is proved in most of the standard texts, including F.C. Verma and I.E. Rodov. So in this problem, we'll see how this apparently very simple concept can be used to solve a very tricky problem of rotational mechanics. We'll also see in this video how we can apply torque equation for a system of particles, which is a rigid body, a disk, and a point mass in this particular case. Okay, so without doing any further delay, let us move on to the problem. Okay, so the problem statement is there is a disk in this problem, a uniform disk of mass 10m, as you can see in this figure. Mass of the disk is 10m, radius of the disk is r, and the disk is kept on a rough floor. Okay, then there is a particle of mass m and charge q. Okay. So let me read the problem statement for you. The problem statement says that the disk shown in the figure has a mass of 10m, uniformly distributed, and some charge non-uniformly distributed over its surface. So this disk is a uniform disk as far as mass per unit area is concerned, but it is non-uniform as far as charge distribution is concerned. So charge is non-uniformly distributed and mass is uniformly distributed over the surface of this disk. It is kept on a rough horizontal surface. So the horizontal surface below the disk is rough, and the coefficient of friction of this surface is sufficiently large such that disk does not slide on this surface. Disk does not slips on this surface. It basically rolls. Okay. Then a particle of mass m and charge q is kept at a distance of 10r from the center of the disk at the same horizontal level. So there is a particle of mass m and charge q, okay, and it is kept at a distance of 10r. So this distance between the center of the disk and particle, this distance is 10r, and the particle and the center of the disk are at the same horizontal level, which means that the distance of particle from the ground is also r. So this distance is also capital R. The particle and the disk are released from rest at t equal to 0. So at t equal to 0, the particle and the disk are released. Okay. The particle is found to accelerate towards right with an acceleration g as shown. So as soon as the particle and disk are released, it was found that the particle accelerates horizontally with an acceleration of g. As you can see in this figure also, the particle is moving towards right, and this double arrow represents the acceleration vector of the particle, which is g in rightward direction. Assume that disk does not slip on the floor, okay, because floor is rough and the disk will roll on the floor. Assuming that, we have to calculate the acceleration of center of mass of the disk and angular acceleration of the disk at this instant. So the particle is getting accelerated towards right. So this disk is exerting some force on this particle. So particle will also exert some force which will be equal and opposite on this disk. So this disk will also have some acceleration and some angular acceleration. So we have to find the acceleration of center of mass of the disk and angular acceleration of the disk at the instant of release. So I hope you have understood the problem. So at this moment, I want all of you to pause this video and try to solve this problem on your own. As I have already given you a hint about the underlying concept behind this problem, so I don't think for good students who have understood that particular concept properly, the problem can be solved very easily. Okay, so before watching the solution, please try to solve this problem on your own. So let us see the solution of this problem. So first of all, what I will do, I will calculate net force on disk due to particle. So this is the particle. I know the acceleration of the particle is towards right and its value is equal to g. Now let us draw the free body diagram of this particle. So as you can see in this figure, I have drawn the free body diagram of this particle. mg is the downward force of gravity which Earth is exerting on this particle. Now F1 and F2. So F1 and F2 are horizontal and vertical components of electrostatic force due to disk on the particle. So because disk has some charge, so it will exert some force on this particle. So I have assumed that, so I do not know the magnitude of that force and the direction of that force. So I have assumed that the electric force has two components. F1 is the horizontal component and F2 is the vertical component. Okay. So there are three forces acting on this particle: the horizontal electric force, which is F1, the vertical component of the electric force, which is F2, and the gravitational force, which is mg. Now in vertical direction there is no acceleration, so net force has to be 0, which means that F2 should be equal to mg. So F2 is the vertical force and mg is the downward force, so F2 and mg will be equal and opposite. F1, which is the horizontal component of electric force, will be equal to mass into acceleration, and acceleration is g. So I can easily calculate the net force which disk is exerting on the particle, and this force is purely electric force, and this force uh, is being exerted on the particle because the disk has charge on its surface, and that charge on the surface of the disk is exerting electric force on the particle. So net force due to disk on the particle is mg I cap. I have assumed the horizontal rightward direction as positive x and upward vertical direction as positive y. So net force on the particle due to disk will be mg I cap plus mg j cap. Now from Newton's third law of motion, I can say that particle will exert equal and opposite force on the disk. So force due to particle on the disk will be equal to negative of this force, which is minus mg I cap minus mg j cap. So this is net force due to particle on disk. Now it is very easy to calculate up to this point, to calculate the net force on the particle and net force on the disk. Okay, because of the electrostatic interaction between them. But now one important question is, what is the point of application of net electric force on the disk due to particle? So I know the net electric force on the disk due to this particle, but the question is, do I know the point of application also? The answer is that since charge is non-uniformly distributed on the disk, the electric force is acting on different parts of the disk. Charge is non-uniformly distributed on the disk, so electric force is acting on different parts of the disk. So although I know the net electric force acting on the disk due to particle, which is minus mg I cap minus mg j cap, but I do not know the point of application of this net electric force. In case of particle, the entire charge is concentrated on the particle itself, so I know that the point of application is the particle itself. But the important thing is that I do not know the point of application of this electric force on the disk, which means that it will not be very easy for me to write the torque equation. I can easily write the force equation on the disk, but I cannot write torque equation that easily. Why? Because for writing the torque equation, I need the point of application of the force, which I do not know because the charge is non-uniformly distributed on this disk. Now, if suppose I take my disk and this particle as a system, as you can see in this figure, so using this green color boundary, I have denoted that my system contains this disk and this charge particle. If I take my system as disk plus point charge, then net electric force is an internal force. So the electric force is basically the force which the entities of the system are exerting on each other. Okay, so the electric force is not an external force. Electric force is an internal force. Okay, so net torque due to net electric force about any point should be zero. So net torque due to net electric force. Why? Because this electric force is an internal force. So the net torque of that electric force about any point will be equal to zero. So this is the main important concept which we will use to solve this problem. Okay. So here what I have done, I have uh, tried to list all the forces which are acting on the disk. So as you can see, the 10 mg force is the force of gravity. This 10 mg, this is force of gravity which earth is exerting on this disk, and its point of application is known, which is the center of this disk. Then there is a normal reaction which the ground, which is the contact force which ground is exerting on the disk, which is acting in vertically upward direction. There is a static frictional force which I have assumed is acting towards the right. Its point of application is also known. Then these F1 and F2 are the electric forces, the horizontal and vertical component of electric force which this charge particle is exerting on this disk. So although it is important to note, I have written at the bottom also that although the F1 and F2 are shown at the center, but these are not acting at the center. So although in this figure I have shown these forces F1 and F2 to be acting at the center, but these are not actually acting at the center. I do not know their point of application. But for writing force equation, I do not need to know the point of application. I can easily write force equation. I cannot write torque equation. So in this figure, what I have done, so in this slide, what I am doing, I am trying to write force equation on this disk. So again, I have drawn free body diagram here also. So 10 mg plus F1 is the net downward force. F2 is the horizontal force. Small f is the force of friction which is acting towards right. And this is normal reaction which ground is exerting on this disk in upward direction. ACM is the acceleration towards right. I have assumed that it is getting accelerated towards left, sorry, not right. And alpha is the anti-clockwise angular acceleration of this disk at this instant. So again, this F1 and F2 are not acting at the center of the disk, but because I am writing, so although I have shown F1 to be acting at the center of this disk, but actually I do not know the point of application neither of F1 nor of F2. Okay, but for writing force equation, I do not need their point of application. So force equation for this disk is mg minus f. So in horizontal direction, I have written force equation in horizontal direction only. So F2 minus F is equal to mass into ACM, Newton's second law. So F net is equal to m into ACM. F net is mg towards left minus f is towards right, should be equal to mass, which is 10m, into acceleration of center of mass. Okay, so mg minus f equal to 10m ACM is the force equation for this disk. Okay. Now it is important to note that I cannot write Fr equal to ICM into alpha. So it is a common mistake which students commit when I give this problem in class, that they try to use this force of they try to use this diagram to write the torque equation. Okay, so the torque equation says that torque of all forces about center of mass is equal to ICM into alpha. But in this case, I cannot use torque equation. Why? Because F1 and F2 are not acting at the center of the disk. Although I have shown F1 and F2 here, but actually they are not acting at the center of the disk. I do not know their point of application, so I cannot write Fr is equal to ICM into alpha here. Now, because the disk, we know that the floor is sufficiently rough and there will be no slipping, so ACM will be equal to R into alpha. This is very simple, and we use this particular equation so many times in almost like 50% of the questions of pure rolling. This equation is used. So ACM is equal to R alpha. So I have two equations now, mg minus f equal to 10m ACM and ACM is equal to R alpha. I have three variables, ACM, alpha and small f. Okay. So F1 and F2, so normal reaction I will not calculate. So I have three variables, ACM, alpha and small f, and I have one equation. So now the question is, can I write one more equation? I cannot write torque equation for this disk. Okay. So what I will do next, I will try to write torque equation for my entire system, which is disk plus particle. Okay, so in this slide, what I am doing, I am trying to write torque equation about P, torque equation about P for my entire system. Now my system includes this disk and this particle, and the point about which I am trying to write torque equation is this point P. So what I am doing, I am trying to write torque equation about this point P for entire system, not just for this disk, for entire system, which is my particle plus my disk. Okay. Now it is important to note that I have chosen this point P. So point P is chosen because torque of friction, normal and gravity about this point P is 0. So three of the forces, which is 10 mg, which is gravitational force on this disk, normal reaction, and this frictional force, all these 3 points pass through this point P. So this is a special point P about which writing torque equation will be very easy. Why? Because torque of all these 3 forces will be equal to 0. Okay. Now one important point here is, in this figure I have not shown the electric force. Why? Because it is an internal force. So it is important to note that while writing torque equation for the entire system, the electric force can be neglected. So why electric force can be neglected? Because it is an internal force. Okay. It cannot be neglected. Basically, the net torque of electric force will be equal to 0. Okay, so there will be no term corresponding to the electric force while I am writing the torque equation for the entire system. Now here what I am doing, I am trying to write torque equation for the entire system about this point P. Now torque, now I know that torque of these three forces 10 mg, F and normal reaction are 0, but there is this mg force also, which is the external force on the system, which gravity is exerting on this particle. So this is the only force which will be producing torque about this point P. Torque of all other forces, which is 10 mg, normal reaction and F, will be 0. So torque of external forces about point P will be equal to mg into 10r, and it will be in clockwise direction. Mg into 10r in clockwise direction. So this mg is acting here, and from point of application, perpendicular distance of the line of action of this force. Line of action is this mg, vertical line of action, and 10r is the distance of this point of application. This point of application from this line. So mg into 10r will be the clockwise torque. Now torque is clockwise because this mg is trying to rotate this particle about this point P in clockwise direction. So that is why this torque is clockwise. So this is the only torque uh, of external forces which is acting on this system about point P. Now if VCM is the velocity of center of mass of this disk and omega is its angular velocity, then VCM will be equal to r omega at any instant. Why? Because of pure ruling. Okay. Now let us try to write angular momentum of the system about point P in terms of the variables, the motion variables, which are V. V is the velocity of this particle in rightward direction, VCM and omega. Okay, so angular momentum, net angular momentum of the system about point P will be angular momentum of the particle plus angular momentum of the disk. So angular momentum of the particle is mv, now mv into r. Why is it mv into r? This r is the perpendicular direction. Now line of action, now this is line of action of this v, and its perpendicular distance from this point P is r. So this distance is r. Okay, so mv into r is what? Mv into r is basically the angular momentum of the particle about this point P, and this, because of this mvr, this particle is trying to rotate about this point in clockwise direction. So MVR will be clockwise. So I am taking all clockwise angular variables as positive and all anti-clockwise angular variables as negative. Now MVR is the angular momentum of the particle about point P. Can I write angular momentum of the disk about point P? So angular momentum, now disk is a rigid body which is moving with VCM as the linear velocity of center of mass and omega as the angular velocity of center of mass. So its angular momentum about point P will be equal to what? M VCM into R. M is 10m. So angular momentum of the disk about point P is 10m into VCM into R. So about point P it will be M VCM into R, and this is all anti-clockwise. Okay. So this is due to the motion of the center of mass, plus it is rotating about center of mass with an angular velocity omega, plus so ICM into omega. ICM is basically half m r square into omega. So angular momentum of the disk about point P will be 10m VCM into r plus 5m r square into omega. So which is 5m VCM into r. So angular momentum of the disk about angular momentum of entire system about point P will be angular momentum of the particle about point P, which is m VCM into r. This is clockwise, and this angular momentum of the entire disk will be anti-clockwise. So it will be 10m VCM into r plus 5m VCM into r. So this 10m VCM into r plus 5m VCM into r is basically the angular momentum of the entire disk about point P. So this will give us LP is equal to MVR minus 10 plus 5, which is 15 minus M 15 MVCM into R. So dLP by dt will be d by dt of this LP. So when I do d by dt of this term, M and R will come outside. So this M, so basically when I do dLP by dt, this M and R will come outside and dV by dt is A. Similarly, 15M and R will come outside d by dt of VCM is ACM. So dLP by dt will be equal to MAR minus 15M ACM into R. So dLP by dt will be MGR minus 15M ACM into R. So why? Because A is equal to G. So dLP by dt is this, and torque about P is 10 mg into R. So both of these are in clockwise direction, so I can equate both of them. Okay, so tau P is 10 mgr, which will be equal to dLP by dt, which is mgr minus 15m ACM into R. So this will give me 9 mgr is equal to minus 15m ACMR, which will give me ACM equal to minus 9 by 15 into G, or ACM will be equal to minus 3G by 5. So ACM is coming out to be negative, which means that acceleration will not be in this direction but towards right direction. So alpha is ACM into R, which is 3G by 5R. So again alpha will also come out to be negative. Here the original direction of the alpha was chosen in anti-clockwise direction. It means that alpha is not in anti-clockwise direction, it will be in clockwise direction. So from first equation, which is the force equation, which was mg minus f is equal to 10 m into ACM, I can calculate force of friction also. So this will give me force of friction at 7 mg. So force of static friction will be 7 mg, and ACM is minus 3g by 5, and alpha is equal to minus 3g by 5r. So final answers. So finally I can write my final, and I have written all my final result here. So ACM is towards right, which is 3g by 5. Alpha is in clockwise direction, and it is equal to 3g by 5r. And force of friction is towards right, which is equal to 7 mg. So as as we can note here that the original direction of force of friction, the final direction of force of friction is same as the originally assumed direction, but the directions of ACM and alpha are opposite to the direction which I assumed initially. So the answer is counterintuitive in the sense that the directions of ACM and alpha the are actually opposite to the direction which I chose initially. Okay, so both disk as well as the particle, they are they uh, they are being accelerated towards right. Okay, so it was not evident initially. Initially I thought that the disk will be accelerated towards left, but finally after writing the torque equation I found that disk is also getting accelerated towards right. Okay. So uh, so finally, I just want to conclude this video. Please give your valuable feedback about this video. Did you like this video or did you not like this video? If you have any doubts, you can also ask me in comments also. Okay, whatever doubts you have. Okay, so I will certainly post some more informative videos, and I will come up with more original questions on rotational mechanics and other topics of the physics. Okay, thank you so much.